Senator Merkley.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Secretary, for coming and carrying on this dialogue with us. I think it's a productive exchange of concerns that particularly involves the public opportunity to understand these issues a little better. And I do appreciate the cooperation in tackling the challenge of fire borrowing, which has been something that has so damaged the Forest Service year after year previously. And having the 2020 date of ending that practice and viewing big fires as national disasters, I think is very, very appropriate and helpful. I also am going to keep pushing in the budgets for more funding for thinning our forests. We have 1.6 million acres in Oregon that has already gone through the environmental process. And we found that in the fires last summer in Oregon, where we had thinned and taken the fuels off the floor of the forest, that they were fire resistant, and it made a big difference. I wanted to turn to the OMB has allocated. So let me back up. There is a budget that Greg Walden and Senator Wyden and I pushed for plussing up for the water conservation and delivery. And we did plus it up, and OMB intends to allocate $10.3 million to the irrigators in the Klamath. And it's just on the verge of the check being written, but my understanding as of this morning, it hasn't quite been written. But I think it's going to happen soon. Is that your understanding?
I did meet with Congressman Walden on the issue. Is that we're going through the legal part of that language. The solicitor in Sacramento had said that language would not allow us to pump, even though, in good faith, Interior and yourself, Senator Wyden, Greg Walden, all worked tirelessly to get the language in. And I think we're ensured that language had legal standing to do what was intended to do. We are looking at it because an objection was brought up that language might not give us the latitude to do it. So we're looking at fixes. It's a priority with me because Interior made a commitment to do it. You moved heaven and earth to get the language in there. And we need to work together to find a fix if, in fact, the language, and it would be our mistake, the language may not allow us to do it legally, but we think there's fixes to it.
I'm available 24/7 to work with you, as I know my colleagues are, and thank you for that. We had understood as of last week that the pumping was okay, but the land idling might have to be repaid, and that was the piece. So I will be part of ongoing conversations trying to figure this out and get the funds into place. But thank you for working with us.
My understanding is that's the case. We can do it, but we can't pay. We have to pay. We have to ask the irrigators for faith, on it, and then put the language in. But we would support corrective language to do that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And that region has gone through this. If this could be the fourth worst ever drought in about a 15-year period, so it's been tough down there. On July 25th, the mineral withdrawal expires on the Chetco River. This is a national wild and scenic river, world-class salmon and steelhead, during a period where many of our rivers, the salmon runs are virtually disappearing. The relevant Congressman DeFazio, Senator Wyden, and I have written to you and asked for your help extending that so Congress can have the chance to try to fit this in when we do some kind of collective bill, as we often do in a large piece. We're just not sure what the timing of that's going to be, but appreciate your help if we can extend that.
I've asked to pull the file on it and have it up to my desk, and I know our staffs are working together on that. So I have not seen the paperwork yet, but I asked for it to come up.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And then on the last minute, I'll turn to this oil drilling question. As you can tell by variety of questions that many states are very concerned. We don't have too many tracts that are prime drilling territory off Oregon and Washington, but there is one for sale. And because we have crab, we have shrimp, we have ground fish, we have oysters, we have salmon, and we have whiting, and I'm probably missing 3 or 4 more, plus our tourist industry along the coast. I mean, it is the most beautiful coast to be found in the world. And so we love the coast, and we have a big tourism industry about it, in addition to all of this fishing and shellfish side. So folks are very alarmed and would love to have as you noted, that you were taking into account the local and state voices. I would ask that you take into account. I know our governor has talked with you, and thank you for meeting with her. That we're very concerned about this.
You have my commitment that the local voice will be heard. In Oregon and Washington, three things. One is there's no significant resources off the coast. Two, there's no infrastructure to support oil and gas. Three is that there is opposition. You'd have to go through state waters. And fourthly is the president has made it very clear in his guidance to me that the local and state voice would be heard.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll tell you, even though we don't have much in known resources, there's some, but also the type of echolocation, the explosions that are done to get more information on the geological formations, that itself can have a big impact on our whale migration and our fish stocks. So we were concerned even about that type of exploration should at least be made. So thank you very much for listening to the local voices.
And may I add real quickly that seismic is also used for wind. It's also used for extraction of sands to restore the coast. So carefully done, I would say seismic is far less destructive than mining of sand for coastal restoration. But science is prudent in the way we look at it, at the effects and causes and impacts.
Thank you, Senator Alexander.